The first term, I and my colleague Dean would run a CTS workshop which was based around stereotyping. I modified an existing workshop about which I'd created about the American designer Dan Friedman, who had, in the 1990s, just before his premature death, had written a book and a manifesto called Radical Modernism. So I modified that particular workshop, looking at stereotype threat through the lens of design, but particularly through this Radical Modernism manifesto, where Dan's basic premise was that we should embrace diversity. Modernism can be a lot softer. We can still have modernist ideas. There's a lot of good things about modernism and modernist approaches, but modernism wasn't a very or particularly inclusive idea, although it set out to be a modernist inclusive project. It ended up being quite an elitist project. What that involved was an active workshop where Dean and I delivered that for 2 hours. Students were asked to look at stereotypes that I had thrown up in my session. They had a break, and then Louise would come in with 2 second-year students from graphic media design who were PALs, so they were peer-assisted learners. They would then run the seminar session and they would lead that with the students, with the support of Louise, to try and unpack what Dean and I had done with them in that 2-hour session. That changing mindsets session was based around the notion of unconscious bias. So we were able to take ideas of unconscious bias, and JP appropriated them through the lens of the canon. So how would you write a canon of graphic design history? Who is included in a canon of graphic design? There are some very particular people that always get talked about, their work is always talked about, but you very rarely get women and black graphic designers who are included in that canon. So we were able again to throw up these ideas of diversity, equality and diversity, which was really helpful, and again students could write an academic essay based on that. Again, after a break, peer-assisted learners would come in and run a seminar period where they would help students discuss, write down, summarise what was going on in that session in the morning.